Welcome everybody
Hey,
to the Shut Your Mouth Lounge. It's episode 101. We're back. It's the usual. It's me, Alex. There's Addy.
I've already said hey.
Yeah, but I was much louder than you, so they won't be able to tell. And there's also Pink.
Yep.
Yeah, we're just going to talk a bit about, news over kind of the past 2 weeks, though there's not really much that we're terribly interested in. Overwatch 2 got announced because Blizzard's on fucking damage control like crazy. And boy, doesn't it say a lot about how people are that at first people are like, Blizzard, you're evil for supporting the Chinese government here. And then Blizzard's like, Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. And suddenly everyone's like, no, never mind, you're okay. Like,
Yeah, you're golden in my books. Don't worry. Forget what I
off.
said last week.
Curiously enough, is nowhere to be seen in Overwatch 2.
She's right there. She is legitimately right
I
there.
know.
I was about to say,
I'm
she's like
making
one
a
of the
joke.
few characters that's actually in the cinematic.
I'm making a
There were
joke.
a handful that were left out, but she was in fact there.
Addy's lies aside, yeah, Overwatch 2 is a thing, which is confounding to me. Overwatch 2 sounds like a stupid joke in my head. It sounds like a joke we'd make.
Right.
Overwatch 2 sounds like World of Warcraft 2. You know, you say World of Warcraft 2, that sounds fucking stupid.
Yep.
World of Warcraft 1 is just never going to end.
Mm-hmm.
So, Overwatch 2. And not only that, it's not actually a fucking sequel, it's just an expansion
Right.
that adds a couple new heroes, ups the graphics, and adds a single player campaign.
But the only thing exclusive to 2 is a single player campaign.
So the graphics are going to be upped, and the new heroes are going to be present for Overwatch 1 players.
Yes.
So I'm never going to play Overwatch again, because I refuse to. Fuck this. Unless, Blizzard really goes back and says fuck China, which they're not going to. But, I'm trying to stick to my guns here and be a moral person, so I'm not playing Overwatch again. But if Blizzard did say fuck China, I still wouldn't buy Overwatch 2.
If China did say fuck China, then maybe.
If China said fuck China, then, we'd be dealing with an entirely different story here.
The world would collapse.
Well, I mean, China has said fuck China like 30 times over the collective course of Chinese history, so it wouldn't be anything new at all, actually.
It wouldn't be new for them, but with the world being so dependent on China existing, being translated into the 50th freaking Sengoku era for China wouldn't be good. Also, I like how I forget the English term, so I use the Japanese one.
You mean a civil war?
Well, by Sengoku, I mean the actual meaning that is behind the word Sengoku, which is warring states. So,
Well, there's been 30 warring states periods for China, so that's not very descriptive. So, this Overwatch 2, for curiosity's sake, Pink, are you still going to play Overwatch?
Yeah.
Alright. So, what I want to know is, does it make any meaningful additions to Overwatch outside of, obviously the girl robot being a new hero?
Absolutely not.
Oh. So this is a single-player campaign and a graphics upgrade.
Yes. I think I've looked a little bit into it, and I'm pretty sure that's all there is to it. That is just the base of Overwatch 2. It's a single player campaign, and that's about it. Because I'm pretty sure they said they're going to up the graphics on Overwatch 1, and all the heroes are going to be on the same, or not on the same. They're not going to be exclusive to one game or the other. So there's nothing to Overwatch 2 outside of the aforementioned single-player campaigns.
This sounds dumb.
It is dumb.
This sounds like a whoops panic move, kind of. A
I'm pretty
half-baked
sure it is.
idea, as it were. I mean, I know Blizzard's going to be the king of half-baked ideas until they manage to repair their public appearance fully. But
This is an oops supported the tyrannical regime move.
yeah, and they're not even really pulling back on that, and I don't expect they ever will.
I mean, it's just I feel like this is just the ultimate corporation move. Like they don't care about freaking people having bad lives and shit. They just care about the flow of the money.
Yep.
And there's no flow of the money greater than China.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely. Everything's made, every choice is made by a corporation to seek greater profits. But at the same time, customers should, and I know that, like, people nowadays don't, like, okay. Customers should hold companies accountable for their actions, and they don't anymore. We should stop buying Blizzard products because they support, China in the Hong Kong situation. But at the same time, people are, like, still going out and buying, fucking, who's that guy that was pissing on little girls?
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. People are still going out and buying R. Kelly albums. That fucking documentary about R. Kelly was the biggest boost in sales for R. Kelly albums ever. Like,
I'm just reminded of Vince McMahon going, "There's no bad press. There's only press."
Yeah, you're correct. Like, when people say, "Oh, I like to separate the artist from the art," I don't know. I think that's bullshit. I think that's just forgiving the artist for what they fucking did. I wish Mike was on here because he has that perspective and we could argue with him. He did say that last week on the podcast, but I was too tired to argue with him.
You wish Mike was on here so we could have another half an hour discussion about politics.
Fuck it, why not? Inevitably, whenever this being, Overwatch and anything involved with Blizzard now, it's going to talk about politics,
Yep.
That's just how it is. And I mean, I'd like to talk about Overwatch 2 itself, other than it just being an obvious desperation move, but I'm just so thoroughly disgusted with Blizzard that I can't really, You know what? I'm in a bad mood because I heard some really bad Hong Kong news this morning. I'm sorry.
It's fine.
Actually, I'm interested.
It's a very ugly story that will ruin the mood of the rest of the podcast. You sure you want to hear it?
I guess. I mean, you can see it.
You sure you don't want to save it until after the podcast is over?
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
Addy will forget it by then, which I'm comfortable with. Well, the last thing Addy needs is more reasons to hate the world. All right. You know what? Here's some good news. Into the Spider-Verse sequel, April 8th, 2022. It's happening. It's not happening it's not happening for a while, but it is happening.
It is happening. It's all that matters.
That's the key part. Okay. All right. So they've only confirmed, I think, 2 new Spider-Men so far for it. A Japanese Spider-Man, the Toei Spider-Man, I think. Which is that?
Right.
Is that the live-action one?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Oh, are we getting freaking Power Rangers Spider-Man?
Yes.
Oh.
Boy.
Oh, because they want another one with a giant robot, I see. And the other new Spider-Man we're getting is, of course, Spider-Man 2099, who was introduced in the post-credits sequence of Spider-Verse 1. And will be voiced by Oscar
Isaac.
Oscar Isaac. I always forget his last name. It doesn't fit.
Because it's another first name.
Yeah, well, yeah. The thing I've got to ask you guys, though, is you each get a choice for another Spider-Man to throw in there. Addy, what would be your choice?
I don't know, because Spider-Man that I like, aside from 2099, are mostly for design. Because, I could say the genocide Spider-Man, but that's just because I like his looks with the leather jacket and the freaking black jeans. And not because he goes on a genocide.
All right.
So, yeah.
And Pink, I'm going to assume your first answer was going to be 2099 until they actually added 2099. So who Who would be your second
That
choice?
is correct. Second choice. It's really hard to say because I'm a sucker for Ben Reilly, so I'd like to see him there as well.
Does he count as an alternate universe Spider-Man?
Anything goes. I don't think they care.
Well, like, yeah, I guess. I mean, would we really count Miles as an alternate universe Spider-Man? Well, I guess we could, but like, he existed in the same universe as a Peter.
Right.
Huh. I mean, what? Didn't Miles get bit by a spider from another dimension, anyways?
Maybe. I'm not 100% certain on that.
I feel like the spider glitched out as if it were from one of the other realities right before it bit him. I think it did. Anyways, go ahead.
I think it. I actually watched that on Thursday, I want to say, and the spider does glitch out after it bites him.
Yes. Okay, and so do you think you'll just stick with Ben Reilly then?
No. One other one I would like to see. It's Superior Spider-Man.
Ooh, Superior Spider-Man is the one I've been seeing a lot of people pull for, yeah.
Yeah.
That one could be a lot of fun, because, like, most of them have just been Peters.
Yep.
And a lot of them would be Peters out of the potential pool they could pull. And
yep.
Otto and Ben Reilly are two of the only ones they could pull out that aren't Peter. I guess they could pull Kane or Silk, but fuck those two.
I don't remember Kane, but I don't know about Silk.
Kane is...
Go ahead.
Kane is like the evil Spider-Man, that his known thing is like he'll leave the mark of Kane on criminals, which means he'll stick his hand onto their cheek and then rip off their cheek.
Is he the guy who turns into liver Spider-Man? Like, genuinely large spider, man-sized spider dude.
He might... Oh, I guess they could do Spiders, man, couldn't they?
Oh yeah, spiders, man. We need spiders, man.
Or Man Spider. Oh, Jesus. And who would you want for a villain? Because, I mean, this is Spider-Verse. They can go for some of the wackier picks. It doesn't have to be Norman.
Right.
Anti-Venom.
No. Well, for one thing, Anti-Venom's a hero. For another thing,
Anti-Venom's a hero?
Yeah.
Anti-Venom's a hero?
Yeah!
Wow.
It's kind of why they put the anti in front of it.
Yeah, so that they could have Eddie fight another Venom. Which Venom was it that they had him fight? Was it Mac?
That was Mac.
Yeah, okay. Mac, by far the most evil of the Venoms. You wouldn't expect it out of a loser like Scorpion, but there it was.
I forget that the freaking symbiote kids are all supposed to be good, even though they suck ass.
Wait, well, Carnage is Venom's kid, and he's super evil.
True. But Carnage is the proto kid, and then came the other ones.
Well, Carnage had his 5 kids, and they're all evil as well.
When did Carnage have kids?
He's the one who had the Life Force ones, isn't he? Riot, Phage, Lash, Scream.
I don't think those were from Carnage. I think those were from Venom.
Yeah, I feel like those were from Venom.
Oh, right. Was it that the Life Inc. or whatever extracted them from Venom? Like,
yeah.
Like kind of artificial insemination?
Yeah.
That makes more sense. Are they finally getting around? Aren't they finally getting around to giving those 4 individual personalities?
I think they've been doing that for Scream for a while now. I don't recall any of the others.
Yeah, whichever one was like the female one, I think has now actually got her own comic line.
Yeah.
Oddly enough. Which means they'll probably put her in for the Venom movies. The Venom movies are confusing, because apparently in that universe, the only superpower that exists is the symbiotes. Because like they haven't introduced anyone else other than the symbiotes, right? It's just Venom, Carnage, and Adi Shankar, or whoever was Riot, wasn't he?
Right.
Oh, I guess they did She-Venom for a little bit as well. Of course they did.
What?
Couldn't have possibly left that out.
What are these stupid things that I'm hearing?
You've never heard about She-Venom?
No.
Oh, Venom, Eddie Brock's ex was the host of Venom for a little bit, and she was She-Venom. Anne Weying. In the comics, I think she eats a dude and then feels so bad about it she kills herself, and the symbiote goes back to Eddie. In the movie, I've only read a little bit about the movie, but I think in the movie she becomes She-Venom just for a little bit to transfer the symbiote back to Eddie. Right?
Yeah.
Pink, I forget, did you watch Venom?
I did not watch Venom, but I'm familiar with some of the scenes.
Yeah. And that's the famous scene where Eddie kisses Venom.
Yep.
Because he makes out with Anne while she's She-Venom, and then the symbiote transfers back to him during it.
Yep.
I think after she ate the dude, so that's probably pretty disgusting, but you know.
What a memory.
God, I hate cannibal Venom. I've said that several times now, but I fucking hate it. Like, I'm almost okay with it in Mac Gargan's case, just because Mac Gargan was a weakling that let the symbiote control him, but I hate it when it's Eddie or any of the others, you know?
Yeah.
Alright. And here's the thing that I know Addie's going to be vocal about. Guilty Gear 2020. So,
Yeah.
they've made a lot of changes. Primarily, the combos are shorter. Wall count combos now will, past a certain point, be broken by a wall break that will return you to neutral, but the player who delivered the combo gets a meter buff. There's also been tons of other little things, like now there's auto-teching. As soon as you hit the ground, the game will just tech for you, which I think makes a ton of sense. I never understood why that was just there. I guess it's kind of a skill gate for people. There is no air teching, if memory serves.
Yeah, they removed it altogether. Like
What-
I think some moves auto tech. Like if you get hit, some moves did auto attacks, but otherwise it's just fall.
That is a big changer for combos. I know that. Or, well, it is for casuals. Because pros would never do a air combo that can be teched out of, but casuals absolutely would. I did a lot of them.
No, dude. The thing is, here's the thing: pros did do combos that can be tagged out of because they anticipated the tag or the tech and adjusted accordingly. So instead of the string being one combo where you just wail on a guy, you do a combo that can be teched out of. The guy techs out of it, and then you just hit them out of the tech. That was how people did it.
Oh, interesting. So, that's going to change now. That's going to... I don't know. I feel like that is one thing that, like, it worked for the pros, but for casuals, it would just confuse them. Like, I'm interested to see where this goes. This is one of those things where, like, so far the pro opinion has not been great, but at the same time, the pros are already used to, Ixerd. And they're probably just going to want their skills to be really transferable, but no real pros have got, like, nobody's gotten their hands on this game for longer than a day, right?
Not yet. There's going to be Arc Revo in like a week, and that's when people will be able to actually submit their opinions to ArcSys directly. But yeah.
So the general consensus amongst pros, though, is that they don't like it, right? Like, guys like Octopimp have been vocal about the fact that they think it's a bad change and that they want it to stay fast.
It's not that it's not that all changes have been bad. Like the pro opinion is some of the changes are okay, some of them are good, most of them go too far. Like if they dialed them back, then it would be fine. But with how it is in the current version of the game, it's too divorced from the usual Guilty Gear shit to actually be good for the series. So like it's not the changes. Sometimes it's not the changes themselves that people have problems with, but the amount that they change.
So, like, explain, like, provide a specific example.
Well, let's see if I remember any off the top of my head, but say for the Okizemi, because Pink, I actually had an idea for a freaking series, by the way, where I explained this sort of shit to you, so you wouldn't be in the dark when I talk about shit like this. But
So,
Okizemi is
well,
the wake up pressure.
hang
Yeah.
on. Yeah, I was about to say the simplest way is to just stop using the Japanese word and say "wake up pressure," and then he'll understand. Pink, which do you understand better, Okizeme or wake up pressure?
Yeah, wake up pressure sounds a lot better to me.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, so they nerfed the ever loving shit out of the wake up pressure, and a lot of pros dislike it because Guilty Gear is wake up pressure city, really fast, loads of combos, air combos, that shit. I mean, there's no concrete. This is Guilty Gear, but so far from what I could tell, people mostly agree that it's wake up pressure. Well, it's not necessarily long combos, but at least flashy combos, and
Oh, I gotta help the cat.
and air combat. So they nerfed the shit out of wake up pressure, where you don't have a lot of options to go with, and uh basically there's just not a lot of there's not a lot of ways to create yourself points at which you can do wake up pressure, because the hard knockdowns now only happen on crouching dust, which is the crouching hardest attack.
This is one of those things that it was definitely done for the casual audience. Because what is the
But
fucking worst part about playing like Guilty Gear Xrd or Street Fighter 4 for a casual? Getting pressured so bad you can't even get up. And just fucking getting well, not infinitely comboed, because you could break out if you knew how, but the majority of people just don't know how. Which, by all means, this is not a problem for like people who are near the skill ceiling. But the idea is to make it more acceptable to casuals, so that a guy with crazy Vortex game can't just glue you to the ground unless you happen to know how to break out of a fucking chicken wing mix-up, you know?
yeah, so what people have been saying about it is that they could nerf Okizemi to not be as harsh, but give people more options than just, crouching dust and select a few moves to actually get into that state. Like, take down the, like, actually, a thing that they did with the Gatling combos is in theory could be applied here, but instead of restricting, and that's another thing that people have disliked, is the restriction of Gatling combos. But anyway, instead of restricting which moves that you do, they make it so they basically de-insensitize. Freaking, what's the word? Whatever.
Incentivize.
Yeah, that. So instead of, you now can't do this move, that move just doesn't deal a lot of damage. You can still do it. You can still go into a short combo, because that's what Guilty Gear 2020 wants to do. You can still go into a short combo from it. It just won't do as much damage as if you went with something else. Now for pros, this would be meaningless, really, but I feel like it could make a big difference in just gameplay in general, because the number one thing that people complain about with these changes to the combo system and to freaking air combat and Okizami and whatever else there can be that isn't the freaking placeholder UI and shit like how Roman cancels work, which most people actually don't mind the changes to the Roman cancels. But yeah, so the issue people are having with most of the changes in the combo system and stuff like that is that it's not it's basically it's removing options instead of making it easier to counter those options.
I mean, the thing with the wake up game is what you're saying, like, if they just make it where it's worse, but it's still present, like, there's lots of people who would still do it, not because it is rewarding, but simply because it pisses off the other guy. Like, if an option is present that will harass noobs, even if it's not very effective, people will still take it because there is nothing that delights a lot of people quite like Schadenfreude, laughing at other people's pain.
But here's the thing, dude. You can't remove the toxicity out of people. It's literally impossible. The only way to make a fighting game that isn't toxic is to make a fighting game that has no online play and the CPU is on freaking level 1 at all times.
Right, we're not trying to cut out toxicity. We're trying to cut out people crushing noobs and making the game not fun for them. Like, here's the thing. Technically speaking, already in 2020, in Guilty Gear Xrd, noobs technically have a fighting chance if they know what they're doing. The trouble being that they don't know what they're doing, because they're not going to stop and read. They're not going to learn anything about the fucking game, because they don't do that. The majority of people want to pop the game in, and they want to immediately hop into a match and play, even if it's their first time playing. They want to learn by doing. That's how people are. That's why people don't know things. They don't want to learn, they just want to do. You know, why do you think people fail in school? They don't want to have to learn how to do math. They want to just know math from the beginning.
I don't know, dude. I didn't want to do anything with math in school.
Right.
I didn't want to know.
Right.
I didn't want. I didn't. The thing is, I didn't want to learn math. I didn't want to do math. Math is still a thing that I freaking I'm evasive about. But to be frank, I actually was pretty good at it.
Addy, have you ever heard of something called anecdotal evidence?
Yes.
The fact that you had that experience does not mean everybody had that experience. If I were saying nobody had that experience, then your anecdotal evidence might prove a point. But I wasn't saying that everybody or nobody had that experience. I'm saying the majority of people don't want to learn things, they want to know them to begin with. They want to think they're already good enough being a beginner.
And here's how we get to freaking force tutorials.
Right. Like, this is the thing. Like, I bet if game devs kept track of how many players chose to play the tutorial in a game without mandatory tutorials, the number would be minuscule. Like, Pink, how many times have you willingly chose to play a tutorial instead of just... Okay, goodbye. Pink, how many times have you willingly chose to play a tutorial instead of just learning by doing?
Never. Not once in my entire life.
Right. And man, it's good having Pink here to provide the example of a casual gamer.
I'm a filthy casual.
Hundreds of hours in Civ 6. Fucking hundreds of hours in Rainbow Six Siege. Hundreds of hours in every WWE game. You fucking casual.
Okay, here's actually a... This is gonna tie into what I did this week, but I'm actually gonna compliment Neo. The tutorial is not only forced, it's made a part of the story, and is required for you to actually freaking progress. But here's the thing. It's not a thing where you just do a tutorial and then you just throw into the deep water. It's a thing where they show you the first like tenth of the tutorial. You get thrown in, and then later you come back to the tutorial and there's a new tutorial and it tells you about new shit.
I always appreciate when they're able to fit the tutorial into the story somehow. I mean, I hate complimenting Witcher 3 because everybody does it, but Witcher 3 did have a pretty good example of a logical tutorial.
Yeah, and the thing with Neo is that if you don't do the tutorial, that's fine. You're not forced to. But if you don't do the tutorial, 90% of your arsenal for any weapon in the game is gone. It's not accessible.
Oh. Well, that sounds pretty mandatory now that you mention it.
I mean, it's not mandatory in the sense that, well, you're not forced to look at it. And you can actually, I'm pretty sure you can play through the game without it because the moves that are locked behind the tutorial aren't like freaking they aren't mandatory to actually complete levels. They're just shit like oh well, here's a new grab move that I'll never be able to use because it only works on humans, and half of the freaking 60% of enemies are monsters that are twice the size of humans.
Yeah.
And like flat stat boosts that are like, you now do 3% more damage to humans.
Yeah.
And so it's not things that you need to complete the game. It's just things that make it easier to go through the game. Sometimes it's not really. Most of the time, you can't actually tell.
I mean, I think the properest way to do a tutorial is to make it mandatory, but also figure out a way to make it fun, so that people playing through the game again don't think it's a drag.
That's impossible. I've never seen such an implementation.
Well, I mean, Well, Devil May Cry is an easy one to go with for Devil May Cry 3, because Devil May Cry 3 starts with a very simple just fight against a bunch of the shittiest enemies, just in a very small little room. And for people going through the first time, it's good because the enemies are quite easy, it's a small area, it's easy to keep track of everything. And for people playing through again, it's just a nice little fight scene where you get to beat the shit out of a bunch of people in a very small area. With that said, like, Devil May Cry 3 is a little bit awkward because it doesn't do like a lot of the tutorial things a lot of things do. It just tells you, oh, hey, press Y to hit people, A to jump, B to dash. And even then, people probably mash through those parts of the tutorial and ignore what it's telling them.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure Pink,
yeah.
while he's playing through Devil May Cry 5, is mashing through a lot of the tutorial prompts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've read none of the little pop-ups that pop up to instruct me on what I'm supposed to do. I just hit the A button to go.
Yeah.
Actually, I think Assassin's Creed's Brotherhood's tutorial is not that bad when it comes to this, because it is mandatory, but you can't just flip through the prompts because they're just not forced into your face. You have to look at the UI, and the UI just provides tips, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Brotherhood did have a good one, and it sets the mood. And for people coming in who had skipped AC2, Brotherhood gets them up to speed, and it basically kind of establishes the life Ezio's leading before he went to Rome.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, Brotherhood's tutorial is good, I guess.
I think Shadow of Mordor also had a fun little tutorial.
I don't like the gameplay of those games. I think they're
It's
freaking
just Assassin's
unwieldy.
Creed!
No, it's not.
Pink is eating chips.
Close. I did drop a bag.
Okay. But, the thing I remember about Shadow of Mordor is it teaches you stealth mechanics and stealth assassinations by you sneaking up on your wife and then stealth giving her a rose. That's just a fun little thing to do to slowly teach the player stealth, while at the same time, that's amusing enough that people going through a second time aren't going to mind it.
And then you stab her with the rose.
You stab her with the rose. Oh. So yeah, the primary problem with everything is that people suck. I think that's what we're getting around to.
Cancel people.
Cancel people.
just in Half-Life 2...
They have outlived their usefulness, cancel people.
In Half-Life 2, there's a thing where the Combine have a force field around the entire Earth that is stopping humans from conceiving babies. We just need that. And then we're done. We had a good ride. Well, no, we didn't, but we had close to
We had a run.
We had a run, It'll be nice to see the next guy that comes up. Let's see what he can do. Orangutans, you're up. You're next revolution. Let's go. Gonna be some humans with some big fucking ears. Is it orangutans that have the massive ears?
I actually don't think so. But
yeah,
I could
me
be
neither.
wrong.
Honestly, it'd be
remember.
funnier if it was baboons just because of the gigantic asses. Alright.
I'm searching orangutan.
Yeah, I don't remember what they look like. Which is bad because they're a very common species of monkey, so I look like kind of an idiot for forgetting.
Yep, they don't
No,
have
they,
big ears.
no, they have big face though.
They do have big face.
Put up a timestamp.
Oh, hang on. The cat is laying in my lap to avoid the dogs, and she is just putting her out there. Yeah, that would be pretty funny looking. That would be pretty funny looking. But the cat keeps putting her arms on my hands like, no, don't move. I'm comfy where I am. Don't move.
I'm having the freaking time of my life imagining this orangutan with like the freaking traditional samurai hairdo, like the balding on the top, each freaking slicked back. Thing.
I'm imagining him wearing a suit with like a '90s era cell phone up to his ear, right? The generic '90s businessman image.
Right.
He's got a little bit of like you can see a little bit of cocaine powder on his sleeves.
For some reason, his nostrils are white.
Yeah. He's got a mustache. You can see a little bit of blood in it. All right. So, Addy, what we got coming out on the channel this week?
Right, I don't have it up yet. So,
Okay, Pink, what you got coming out on your channel this week?
I've probably only got Civilization coming out this week. I haven't done anything else in recent times.
All right. On my channel, I'm going to have the usual. Tuesday is Prison Architect. Thursday is Civilization 6 with Wilhelmina. It's like I didn't get Wilhelmina until the late game. So here's the key thing that nobody ever tells you about why Japan is strong. Like, I always see it mentioned like, oh, proximity bonuses and all that, right?
Right.
Here's what makes Japan strong. Every single one of their districts gets a district adjacency bonus from other districts, like 2 instead of 1, right?
Right.
Now, what people forget to mention is that stacks with both of the policy cards you can get for each district that further multiplies the district adjacency bonus. So, if you have a civ that increases district adjacency bonuses, like Japan or the Netherlands, and then get those cards, you can get some positively fucking absurd amounts of your given district's output. In my case, as the Netherlands, early on I put a lot of campuses on rivers just because, duh. And now that I've attached both cards, I am in like 1790, right?
Right.
I am getting 270 science per turn.
That is crazy.
My closest competitor is Egypt, who is getting 120 science per turn. I went to invade Hungary. Hungary has still got knights and galleys, and I sent fucking battleships. And I can build rocket launchers. I didn't send any, but I could have. I showed up on Corvinus's doorstep, and Corvinus was like, I surrender. He paid me a shit ton of money to just go away. It was
Take your magic elsewhere.
the Hungarian way.
I'm just imagining this small medieval city.
The Hungarian way would have been if you freaking taken them over and then ruled over them for 80 years.
Yeah, but they'd put my people on pikes, which wouldn't be cool. I really don't want a gigantic, long wooden rod shoved up my ass. But, I mean... maybe if I were playing as the Greeks, maybe, I'd be more open to the idea.
But yeah, so, on Monday, it's Metal Gear.
Oh, Metal Gear.
Oh boy.
Metal Gear.
And
Second
then...
episode?
What do you say, Pink?
Second episode?
Yeah. And then on Friday, it's W and I playing Blaze Blue.
Oh, we recorded that forever ago.
Dude, freaking Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Striker came out yesterday.
I noticed that, but I didn't care enough to mention anything. Yeah, that Naruto to Boruto might be the worst video we've ever recorded. Cause fuck that game.
There's always freaking Farming Simulator.
Farming Simulator, we got to have some fun. You know, there
We chopped many a tree.
we did chop trees. That is correct. I was talking more so about ramming our vehicles into each other. Farming Simulator will always come to mind, like alongside Minecraft, as the best moments we got in those fucking games happened off recording.
Right.
Like sometimes it just doesn't work out.
Also, I'm not sure. I think like this is just a note that I want to say. So we did put out the first episode of Marvel's Capcom. Yeah, has nothing to do with either of those. Freaking KOF 98 right?
We put out the first episode of that a long time ago, I think.
Right, because it's not on the channel.
Oh,
Like,
did we
at
lose-
all.
I think we lost the recording to it.
No, we have the recording. I uploaded it. I re-uploaded it, and now it's coming out on the 6th of December. But like, I distinctly remember seeing the freaking thumbnail in my subscription feed, and when I was looking for it for looking for it for reference for another video, I looked through the whole catalog backwards and forwards. I searched up for it, and in no freaking like, unless I legitimately didn't title it. But even then, I even searched for it as the freaking like raw video that I upload to YouTube. I searched for that thing's name as well, and it wasn't up. It just wasn't on the channel.
But the pizza.
Yes,
That was the one with the pizza, right? I'm not crazy.
yes, it is.
Well, but we've got that in the highlight compilation.
Yes, the video exists. I have it on my hard drive. It's up on YouTube now, although it won't be coming out until the 6th. But I distinctly remember it being released on the forum's channel, and it wasn't. It wasn't on the channel at all.
That makes no sense.
Yeah, that's why, that's why I'm confused as well.
Did YouTube just eat the fucking video?
Yes, I think YouTube might have ate the video.
It required sustenance.
It's required pizza.
Oh no. We have to record a video of the pizza once a year.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. Well, at least now it's up.
Yeah.
Temporarily.
Hopefully YouTube won't eat the pizza again.
Oh my god. Alright, well. Addy, you got anything coming out on your own channel?
Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Wonderful. So, with all that said, Pink, what are the highlights of your past 2 weeks?
Past 2 weeks. All right. Let's see. I want to say, what did I do recently? I feel like I did something recently. I played, what's it called? Devil May Cry with you guys. That was a lot of fun. We did Gears of War way back when. That was a pain because I had a headache that day.
Oh,
And all those monster noises were causing me actual pain.
I was wondering why you were extra quiet that day. I was like, whoa, weird. This is weird. Pink's not saying much.
Yeah. I just was trying my hardest to power through that because I was dying. That stupid, I don't know what it's called, the little cat thing, scorpion thing with a tail.
Yeah.
The noises that thing made were just so aggravating.
Yes, they were. Well, that thing in general was very aggravating. Oh,
It was like, I was having a fun time because I didn't think it'd be all that great going in, but as I was playing it, I was like, yeah, this isn't bad. This is actually a lot better than I thought it would be. But all the noises, all the just the general layout of the game and all the stuff going on, because there are things happening on the screen everywhere. It's just stimulation overload, and it wrecked my brain.
Okay, I understand. Alright, well, that's good to know. And outside of recording, what did you do?
Outside of recording, I did some recording of my own. Outside of that, a lot of Civ. So that's really the only thing I got around to this week. Last week, I want to say... there was something I did. I just don't remember it. I'll come back to it if I remember it.
Okay.
I mentioned earlier, I rewatched Into the Spider-Verse on Thursday, I want to say.
Yeah.
Still a good movie. I had that on in the background as I was doodling in my little sketch pad.
Alright.
I feel like there was something I watched recently, but I don't recall. I know I haven't gotten around to season 3 of The Good Place, so that can't be it.
Okay.
But there was something else. I'm drawing a blank.
Alright.
Addy, what did you do this week?
Right. Well then, allow me to pause live for a bit. And pull up the freaking list.
My God.
Yeah?
Can we lower it to the highlights?
These are for last week.
Oh. None of them were like indie shooters that PlayStation was giving away for free, were they?
Indie shooters? No. So, I didn't want to bring this up because it was so small, such a small thing, but here's a freaking funny footnote in last week.
Yeah.
So, I booted up WWE 2K16 because I was like, well, maybe I'll have some fun with the universe mode. Heath Slater becomes WWE champion, so I snapped the universe away and then deleted the game.
That always happens to you. Why?
No, it's not. No, it's always Dolph Ziggler. This time it was Heath.
Okay, my question, why don't you just fucking remove Heath Slater and Dolph Ziggler from the universe?
I removed Dolph Ziggler. I think Heath was a freaking replacement.
The game just finds somebody you don't like. Like, how many people on average do you put... Is there just an absence in the main event picture so the game tries to figure out someone to fill a slot?
No. The thing I had going was... Because I actually remodeled my universe. I think mid-universe, but... Yeah, where I had 3 big shows which were freaking like... Because my basic idea towards this whole thing was... So what if... I did the freaking, like... The shittiest era of wrestling, which was the 2008, around 2008 era of brand split with WWE, but with freaking people that weren't there because there's no community creations anymore. So I used basically everybody that isn't dead on the roster to fill out freaking roster slots for all 3 shows, and then Heath Slater became WWE champion. Mick Foley got into like a freaking year-long feud with himself over the ECW championship.
Nah.
And I don't remember what the hell happened on SmackDown.
Every year I have at least one match of Foley versus Foley. I'm pretty sure there was one year where I had a WrestleMania where one of the big matches was a fatal 4-way of Foleys.
The Fatal Foley way.
Perfect.
So, I also finished the Assassin's Creed 3 DLC, the Journey of King Washington. And yeah. So.
Did you kill Washington?
No, actually. It was all a dream.
Is Washington still alive?
Yes. But he does tell Connor to take the freaking Apple of Eden and throw it into the ocean.
Does Connor throw it into the ocean?
I think so.
Oh. So someone had to fish it out later?
Yes.
That's actually kind of amusing. Like, the Templars sitting out a boat, like, well, it's out here somewhere.
Starts swimming.
So, we talked about how the first power you get is crab walking with the power of bat salt.
Okay.
The second power you get is teleportation, which you achieve, which basically works like the freaking bat launcher from Syndicate, and you achieve this by turning into an eagle.
Okay.
Then you also in the third episode, because you get a new power each episode, and there's only 3. So by the third episode of the Tyranny of King Washington, you get the power of bear, which
Does it
which
allow
is
you to eat your enemies?
sadly no. all it does is you slam the ground and you do AOE damage.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
Can you
the
hug
lamest
anyone to
one.
death?
Sadly no,
Why do they call it bear?
Yeah.
because bears might or something. So I just want to read out the freaking how I wrote, because I wrote cliff notes for myself, so I'll remember shit. And it's like crab walking, teleportation, bear, everyone dies.
Okay.
So yeah, fun.
That's life, I guess.
Yeah, so my favorite part of life is bear.
Yes. Well, hang on. You gotta be careful about that statement you just made. I don't
Why?
think you realize what you've just said.
I don't think so either.
Do you not know what that means?
No.
Okay, in the LGBT community, bear is slang for a larger, hairier man, bigger, hairier man who is homosexual or bisexual.
I see. But yeah, I also finished Assassin's Creed Liberation, which was a PS Vita game, and actually kind of like, in my opinion, is in a lot of ways better than 3, even though it's running on the same engine. I think the wilderness area, which in the third game was actually a wilderness, and this game is a swamp.
Well, I mean,
Is
technically
better.
a swamp is a wilderness.
Yeah. But yeah, I feel like the swamp was better put together overall, and it also was smaller, so I didn't have to freaking just waltz around random freaking woods, hoping that the fog of war stops existing.
Do you have to deal with angry crocodiles?
Actually, yes.
Oh,
The
true Creole experience.
one of the sort of mini games, like one of the collectibles in the game, is crocodile eggs, and you get crocodile eggs by going straight to the nest and freaking wrestling the mother.
Oh my god. Okay,
Assert your dominance.
hang on. What's the name of the chick that's the main protagonist of this game?
Aveline.
She's my favorite now.
I actually really like her. She's a badass.
Apparently, she fucking wrestles gators because she wants the eggs.
I mean, hey, give me a sec. I have a 10-second freaking video that you don't necessarily have to put in, but it's basically just a showing of how badass she is. Because this game, freaking I won't find it. Whatever.
I'm just
But yeah, so yeah.
I'm just imagining, like, she goes up to her contact who's, like, always telling her where the Templars are or whatever for her to do. And they're like, well, we got nothing for you to do today, Aveline. And Aveline's like, okay, I'm going to go wrestle some gators then. And they're like, holy shit.
Here you go.
I'm imagining her doing, like, Luke Harper moves to them.
But so the thing is, like, this game had the disguise system, which means that you had 3 disguise types that you could use to basically get closer to people and shit like that. I think in this game it was a bit forced with a couple of missions, but the concept itself is not bad, and I wouldn't mind it if it returned. So you have 3 disguises, which are assassin, which is your quote unquote true form. You have a slave disguise, and you have a lady disguise. Now, matters not whether Evelyn is wearing pants or a freaking large ass, like wedding dress. She kicks ass. Like there was a freaking. I didn't record that, but it was awesome. I got it. Yes.
I just watched that clip on my phone. Yeah, I see. That guy gets an upskirt and then he gets fucking curb stomped.
Yeah, and there was an even cooler one, where I think I don't remember. Whatever. So guards attack Evelyn while she's in the lady costume. So the thing is, the lady costume in theory, can't fight that well. In freaking actual use, it doesn't freaking matter. They didn't make a separate fighting mechanic for it, so it fights just as well. But the lady, the animations aren't adjusted to the lady clothing. So two freaking guards with muskets with bayonets on them run at Evelyn. I press the counter button. It goes into a freaking animation. Evelyn jumps over both of the bayonets and then just kicks their freaking head off.
Wait, does she... Hang on. Does she jump over the bayonets or does she stand on the bayonet?
She jumps over. Although if she stood on the bayonets, it would be cooler.
I'm imagining like shit. Two guys stabbing towards her at once, and she jumps up, perfectly lands on the bayonets, and just bounces on them.
I wish that was the animation, but no, it's just imported over from 3, so she just jumps over the bayonets, try to stab her in the leg, and then she just kicks them in the head. But it still looks really cool.
I see.
So yeah.
The more Jackie Chan shit you put in your game, the better the combat's gonna look, so...
Absolutely.
Yeah. The combat in Judgment sucked, but there is nothing hyper than the combat cutscenes than freaking the ones in Judgment, because Yagami straight up does Jackie Chan shit. Like, I'm pretty sure they copied the freaking one of his fight scenes with a chair in it for one of them.
Oh, the famous chair fight, yes. I can see it in my head, but I couldn't tell you exactly how it goes down. But I've definitely seen a Jackie Chan fight scene using a chair as a weapon.
Yeah. Oh, he liked using chairs as weapons.
Oh, yeah, it probably happened multiple times. And what's the other one I'm seeing in my head? I remember one where he kicks a shoe into the air, and then when the shoe's in midair, he fucking roundhouse kicks it into the other guy's head. As a projectile.
I love that. I love freaking old kung fu movies. They have the stupidest shit, but also the coolest looking shit.
Well, the thing is, there's a Buster Keaton-ness to it, which, of course, is easy to say, because Jackie Chan famously admired the hell out of Buster Keaton. But, how they're all genuine stunts that Jackie and the other guys had to sit and do, and they did, 100 fucking takes to get each stunt right, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
I always remember. I will always remember the freaking outtakes being on the end of his movies, and in Rush Hour or whichever one, there's a scene where he's supposed to slide under Teller's booth, slide into it or out of it. I don't remember, but in the outtake, he hits his stomach on it, and he just left it off. He full force freaking just jumped straight into the plexiglass, and then he left it off.
The only one I remember from Rush Hour is him screwing up the word freeze and instead pointing a gun at somebody and yelling cheese.
It's not a camera!
And it took everybody a while to finally get through to him. No, you don't say cheese when you point a gun at someone. You say freeze.
But yeah, going with Assassin's Creed Liberation, they also had a new weapon, which is a whip. And the whip, well, it's not really a weapon, it's more like Scorpion's spear. But instead of Aveline just pulling people closer to her, if you press the attack button while she does it, she just pulls them in and does a freaking X-Boomer on them. Freaking X-Bomber.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you said like ex boomer or something like that. And I was like, what the fuck's an
that's
ex
what
boomer?
that's what I said because I'm so used to calling it actually Boomba. So I was in the middle of transitioning the freaking stupid ass call out name to the actual name of the move.
Now, if I were to say that I don't remember the move you're talking about, would I look like an idiot?
It wasn't any of the other games. Or wait, you X Bomber. The X Bomber is a freaking lariat, dude.
Oh,
It's just
X
a lariat.
Bomber. Okay. I thought you were saying X Bomber. I was like, what the fuck's an X Bomber? Yes, the Axe Bomber. That was Hogan's lariat, right?
Yeah.
Right. I remember that. Yeah.
But yeah, so Evelyn just freaking like she whips at the enemy, grabs them with the whip by the neck, pulls them closer, and then does a lariat because she's a badass.
I mean, really, what that series needs is more wrestling moves. Let's be honest.
Yeah. You've got a valid point there.
Wait, hang on. Question. How many wrestling moves does Odyssey have in it?
None.
Odyssey's the worst Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Odyssey should have the most. What the heck?
I'm glad we could come to an agreement. Pink, here's the worst part. They have a whole freaking Olympics game, and you have to do Pancration. There are no freaking wrestling moves in the game.
What the heck?
Clearly, you didn't spend enough time in Sparta.
Clearly, just copying Tarsus's freaking fighting mechanic doesn't make you good.
Oh, man. What? No. Alright. Well...
Also, another thing that I just wanted to touch on the story a bit. So, Assassin's Creed Liberation is the game that they that they revealed Erudito as a part of the story. Erudito being like this third party to the Assassins and Templars. They're basically a hacker group. I think Erudito were supposed to be assassins at first, but then it turns out they were Templars, and now they're all dead because the Templars killed them or something. I don't know. I'm not the most well versed on the extended universe shit.
Yeah.
And most of the extended universe shit is modern day, so you know.
Oh. Oh no. Alright, that's all you had to say. I think we've heard enough.
Yeah, so I also beat Detroit Become Human.
Okay, so I've heard it's better than most of the David Cage games, but I've heard it has a distinctive story moment that hurts it really, really badly.
I'm not sure which one that story moment could be, but I do know that the game has Detective Dante, and Detective Dante has no ending. And that's the biggest sin.
Detective Dante?
So there's this guy called like Hank, and he's basically Dante from DMC5 if he was freaking incredibly racist towards robots.
Right,
and he's the best character.
Yes. he did have an ending.
Not really, no.
Well, it
Well,
depends
not in the way that I played the game, I guess.
Okay, yeah, that's the key part. Because if you fuck up Connor's route, then of course Hank won't have an ending.
No, Hank lived. Everyone lived. Well, not everyone lived. Okay.
Some people had to die.
Yeah, some people had to die, but most people the people that I actually cared about, Connor and Hank, lived.
The people I cared about lived, so that's all that matters.
Yeah. I tried to keep everyone from dying, but then literally at the end of the game, like, I'm genuine, like before the last cutscene of Seikara's story, you can choose whether or not you want to basically you have to take a gamble on whether or not people will notice that you're a robot with a robot scanner, and if they do, then they shoot you, and if they don't, they shoot you. Because here's the thing.
Oh, oh, I see. So you got so you did the bad thing as you did bad things as old what's the one that's not Connor or the chick? What's
Marcus.
his face? Marcus. You were an asshole as Marcus, I take it?
No, I actually went the peaceful route with him.
But you fucked it up?
No, people were on my side. Like the general populace was on my side, and they called that shit off.
Well then, why
Kara-
why'd they shoot
Kara-
you then?
Well, Kara is an android, and Canada doesn't like androids. And Kara's story is her trying to go to Canada.
I thought Canada was supposed to be the safe place for androids.
No, Canada is the safe place for androids they don't know are androids. Canada has outlawed androids, I think. Like, they're illegal. They flat out illegal.
That goes against all the tropes. Canada is always a safe haven.
So Canada is safe if they don't notice you're an android while you go to Canada. But if they do, then they shoot you.
They've broken the rules of fiction!
So the thing that I did was, dude, I'll take it y'all don't care about the story.
I've
Not
already
really.
spoiled on pretty much all of it.
Alright, so Kara's story is, she frees up a small girl, well, at least the way I played it anyway, yeah. She frees up a small girl from her abusive father by killing him, the only way that he deserves to live. And then they basically try to get to a safe place so they can start over, which is Canada. And then along the way, it turns out that the little girl is also an android, but nobody knew this. And so at the end, I was faced with the choice of either killing Kara or potentially killing Kara and the kid. So I felt like with how the story was going and how Kara has been as a character, I felt like it would be good for her to at least sacrifice, to, if there's no other logical option to go with, then sacrifice herself for the kid's future.
Yeah.
So that's what happened. And yeah. And then Marcus, I really dislike. Like, also Kara's thing. I tried to play Kara as just basically, I don't care about anything aside from making sure we're safe, but also not being an asshole. And then in some of the cutscenes, they just made her an asshole. So I didn't like that. Because, throughout the whole thing, there's this guy called Luther that they free along the way. And he basically becomes the father in this full family. And I actually really, really regret not being able to save Luther.
Nah.
Luther sacrificed himself for me.
Nah.
But yeah, throughout the parts where Luther was still there and it wasn't known that the kid is an android, for like the past, I don't know, like a week or something, every day Luther goes up to Kara and is like, Kara, we need to talk. It's about the kid. You need to know this. And Kara's like, I don't care, Luther. Go do Luther things. And that's not something that I told her to do because I liked Luther. I would have listened to Luther.
I'm interested to hear one specific thing
Yeah?
before we move past Detroit Beyond Human. So a lot of people felt that one of the biggest mistakes of the story was turning the kid human. I mean, not robot.
Yes, I don't disagree.
That up until that point, the fact that she was a robot, like, showed that robots were the fact that she was a human showed that robots were capable of compassion and caring towards humans. And them deciding to change her to a robot just turns it into a robot looking out for its own.
Yeah, I agree. Marcus
How do
just flat out.
robots age?
They don't.
Well, that's gotta suck, being a kid forever.
Well, hang on, it's questionable in the first place why anyone even would design a kid robot, isn't it?
That is an excellent point. I'm going to erase that from my memory banks.
Yeah.
So,
It certainly
yeah.
doesn't help that the character who is Kara's owner is a creep. Is he also the one who has the kid?
Yes.
And that guy
Her-
plays a fucking creep in every one of David Cage's games.
Like, to say that he's a creep is an understatement. He's a drug abusing asshole
Oh.
that beats his child.
Oh.
So I feel like the best choice that I made in the whole game was shooting him because he freaking deserved it. he forfeit his life.
Oh man, could you choose not to go to Canada?
No,
Okay.
you're like legit not a choice.
Okay.
That's actually like I liked the characters and how they interacted with Inkara's story with the whole thing. I didn't like the story because I felt like it. I felt like a lot of times it was just okay. Well, they just exist. They happen. Marcus. Let's move on to Marcus. Marcus went from man, I'm caring for this old man. He's basically my dad. I really love him, and I wish that no harm befalls him. And then the guy's actual kid shows up, and then he gets a heart attack because of him. And the kid blames it on Marcus, and Marcus is like, okay, I guess I hate people now. And so Marcus freaking makes a rebellion of robots. Because that's
I
yeah.
certainly heard that the game's story lacks subtlety.
Yeah, I feel like Marcus's turn was way too freaking sudden because it goes from Marcus in the scene where his owner dies, crying on his corpse, calling him dead, and then in the next scene, he's freaking in a graveyard, rebuilding himself from scrap, and then freaking going on to potentially murder humans. Like I feel like that's a bit too sudden.
Oh man.
I mean, I played it the pacifist route because here's the thing. With how they showed the army and the whole thing in response to the robots and how they dealt with shit, I was like, well, to me, if you're doing a movement and the government is pointing guns at you and your movement is based on an ideology, then there's no better way to show that the ideology, if it's not, actually a violent ideology. I feel like it's a good way to show that your ideology is not violent by getting gunned down. Because if you get gunned down, you become a martyr. People will believe in your cause and rise up against the injustice that you're trying to fight. You might not be the one who gets to live in the world that you create by trying to fight the injustice, but the change does occur.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do agree that the ideology is more important than anything else. I am the kind of asshole who does things on principle. But at the same time, like, speaking logically, we do have at least one major historical example of a case where a lot of people got brutally murdered and martyred, and it did absolutely nothing for nobody. And it's related to the very first thing we talked about on the podcast. Does the name Tiananmen Square ring any bells?
Well, yeah, it doesn't always work, but the game is set in America.
That's true. Like, is America, like... Would it be the kind of thing, though, where they can easily hide information? Or,
They can what? You cut out.
Well, hell, even then it doesn't matter. They didn't hide Tiananmen Square effectively at all. Everybody outside of China knows it happened, but... Like, I'm just saying, like, if we're talking principle, like, on principle of things, absolutely, you're right. If we're talking in terms of, like, actual effectiveness, then it's a different, it's a different question.
Yeah, but I feel like, I feel like since with how I played Marcus, the whole ideology behind Rising Up was just, we want to be people. We want you to not freaking take us out to the junkyard and take us apart when we say no. Like literally that second. And we're also not willing to raise a hand. Like we're willing to go out and protest and shit, but we're not willing to actually fight people over this because we want to show that we're better than you. Like to me, that's the thing, is that a moral victory in the face of violence can be good to further your non-violent ideology.
Right. So, I mean, really, it's just two different questions then.
Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, so throughout the whole thing, it was just like me going, I don't want to hurt people because then people won't know that we're better than them. And the only way to have them accept us is if they want to better themselves. And then all of the NPCs going, no, shoot people! All the humans suck!
Well, I mean, that's just life.
Yeah.
If we're assuming the
guess so.
robots are like perfect imitations of humans, humans, generally speaking, when put in this situation, would say, man, it would feel really good to kill people. Because it does for some reason, because we're still fucking animals.
So yeah, that's Marcus's story. Overall, I felt like it was all like, I get what they were going for with the whole story of Marcus, but I felt like the change was too sudden for me to actually believe that that is the same character.
Yeah,
And then
I get that. I've definitely heard, like, Connor's story I've definitely heard is the best, and then people kind of differ on Kara and Marcus. Like, it seems a lot of people really drop off with Kara once it turns out the little girl is a robot, and Marcus people think is just too radical too quick. And people fucking hate North.
Yeah. Also, like I turned off of Kara like the second that you left the freaking, like, I think it was after you go into the freaking whatchamacallit, the hotel. I think that's when I turned off of Kara's story, because it was like, okay, so they're hiding out, makes sense. She did just murder a guy, and then they leave, and they go to freaking, like, they go to the rape mansion,
Right?
and it's Resident Evil, and I was like, okay, no.
Yeah. See, that's a problem with old David Cagey there. For some reason, there's always a weird rape part in every game. And there's also always some weird shit that doesn't jive with the rest of the setting. Because sometimes he doesn't know what to cut out. He'll like an idea and he'll keep it even if it doesn't make sense, and he should save it for a later game. Like, did you ever play Heavy Rain?
Yeah. No, but I am planning on playing Heavy Rain. I have it downloaded, I just haven't played it.
Okay, have you ever seen footage of Heavy Rain?
Yes.
Okay, so you would describe it as like a mostly realistic murder mystery, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
With Jason.
With Jason? But why the fuck does the cop have crazy sci-fi VR goggles that let him read everything?
Why not? I guess.
Fahrenheit 1 was started off, again, as a relatively realistic murder mystery. And then halfway through, it's like, but what if it was the Matrix, though? And you're a ghost!
Oh, right, I remember that.
Yeah. And fucking Ellen Page game, where David Cage modeled her whole naked body or something.
Beyond Two Evils.
Something like that.
It's beyond Two Souls or something like that.
Yeah, it starts off, Ellen Page is a military experiment. She can control her brother's ghost or something, so she's a military experiment to become a government killer. Then halfway through, it's like, but what if reality was, like, falling apart and, like, you're in the fucking warps of reality? Also, this guy with an eye patch really wants to fuck you. It's time for a shower scene.
But yeah, so the only good thing to come out of the freaking rape mansion, that whole freaking chapter of the game, is Luther. Luther is the best. Luther's just this freaking large dude. who is like basically the military guy stereotype where he just takes no shit but he actually can care but he has a hard time adjusting.
Yeah.
That's Luther, and I loved it because it was like he actually gets scenes that are funny not because they're meant to be funny but because of how you can see him trying to adjust from being a basically brainwashed experiment of the rape dude to becoming just a person. And it's not the thing is the joke isn't on him. The joke is how it plays out. Like or well, I guess it's really like funny isn't the best way to describe it. I just find like that's the best way I can describe how I feel when I see shit like him being basically forced to tuck in the little kid and kiss her goodnight and shit. Like he plays along with it as best as he can, but he's not. It's not perfect, and that's the thing that I like about it.
I've not heard anything mentioned about Luthor, actually. He's one of the characters I've never seen talked about.
I think you can shoot him if you're too scared of him. I wasn't.
Oh, yeah, a lot of people probably did that.
Because the thing is, right before the part where he turns good and you figure out that he might not murder you in your sleep. Before that, he's Nemesis.
Oh, wow.
So, I can see why people might have shot him, but I took a leap of faith and went, okay, I guess you come along, and if you just murder us in your sleep, then I guess at least I won't have to follow Kara anymore.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Oh, I got a question. How many times did you die as Connor?
Twice.
Okay.
And one of them was in the opening cutscene, so that I don't think that technically counts as the actual Connor unit that they use for the rest of the game.
Did you take the choice where you run him off the building?
Well, I wasn't able to make the guy see reason, so I was like, I guess sacrifice Connor. I don't know what this does, so I pressed it, and then he just shoulder checks the dude off of the building.
That's one of the only game clips I've actually seen. And that's actually really good what they did there. The fucking slow-mo that plays as you're falling off the side of the building, and it just brings up a little UI thing that says, mission accomplished, as you're falling to your death.
Yeah.
Because you did save the girl. Mission accomplished.
Yeah. Connor was the best character because with Connor, you actually get to... Well, basically, I feel like Connor was the easiest to actually try to get the shoes off because his thing was, well, I have been told this, but I'm also with Detective Dante, and I don't want to be on bad terms with Detective Dante. So do I go with what he says or with what my programming says? Another thing was that throughout the whole thing, if you want, you can try to make Detective Dante not be freaking racist. And after a while, if you actually try to and succeed, he tells you what his issues was with the freaking robots. And his issue wasn't actually with robots. And that's the thing, it's character growth. He actually thought about what his issues was with androids, and then he thought about it and says, okay, I actually didn't dislike androids after all.
Yeah. I always see tons of praise for the Connor and Hank storyline. It's the only one that people consistently stick with not having a problem.
I don't know about that. Yeah.
Was Connor the one who confronts the CEO?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there's one problem people had with that playthrough.
I didn't shoot the girl.
I don't know about any shooting the girls, but people had a problem with how it turned out the CEO was intentionally turning the androids into people. A lot of people felt that actually ruined the idea of the game, because then they're just robots that behave like people. It's not that robots have evolved so far that they are people, it's just that the robots are being manufactured to behave like people artificially.
I don't know about that, because here's the thing. When you get to the CEO, there's this whole spiel about, artificial intelligence, how great and shit like that, and then he he takes one of his clone girls, because he has like 50 of them. He calls her out and tells her to initiate the test sequence or whatever. She goes down on her knees, and then he gives Connor a gun and tells him, if you want to know what's happening with the deviants, which are the robots that went rogue, you shoot her. I want to see that you have no empathy. And if you choose not to shoot her, which I chose not to shoot her, then he goes, turns out you do. And then he takes the gun and you leave. So maybe it was a thing where he wrote the code so that robots just act like people. I don't know, because I didn't hear the quote unquote truth behind the deviants. Because I didn't shoot the girl.
Oh. Well, maybe if you go down a different path, then you go there for a different reason?
Who knows? So, yeah, one thing that I liked, throughout the whole thing, there are parts where Connor is sending data to his manufacturer. And by sending data to his manufacturer, he means that he's teleporting to a freaking, like, this Zen garden with some woman in it. And she's her, like, supervisor. Or she's his supervisor, yeah. And he basically talks with the supervisor about what happened.
Okay. And I assume the supervisor isn't the creepy android on the main menu screen.
The creepy what?
The creepy android on the main menu screen.
No, that's the clone girl. You get to shoot her if you don't have empathy, I guess.
Does shooting her get you off your main menu screen?
No, but if you finish the game, she does. Well, it might get her off of the title screen, but if you finish the game with, androids being given rights and shit, she just goes, "Hey, I saw this game and I thought about things and I want to leave. Are you okay with this?" And if you press yes, then she just leaves.
Pick that shit immediately.
I did. She's gone.
Be gone.
Be gone, Todd. Robot Todd.
So, Pink, there is just this weird, creepy blonde android on the main menu screen of Detroit, and it'll do things like mention if it's a holiday or something. It also might just do weird shit like hit on you.
Oh.
And the camera,
that's fine.
The camera is uncomfortably close to her face.
You made me remember one time when I was on the title screen for a bit because I don't actually remember why, but I was on the title screen for a bit longer than usual. And she just goes. I don't remember what she said because I didn't hear it because I had it on mute. But
I'm kind of waiting for you to say like, "I can smell you."
No, I wish. No, there was just a pop-up thing like, "Are we friends?" And I said no, and she just looked so freaking sad. And like, I don't. Yeah, at that point, she was not a part of the story, so I didn't know who she was. So I went like, "Well, you're not part of the story, and you're just a random person." So no, my default opinion of people is not friend.
What a fucking weird feature.
Yeah. But yeah, so if you choose to go with Connor siding with the rebels and all that jazz, then you have a boss fight. That's not really a boss fight, but whatever. You have a boss fight against Connor's supervisor where she disappears from the Zen Garden and just turns on the snowstorm. And Connor walks really slowly, and you have to find the failsafe to resume controlling Connor, or else he'll shoot freaking Marcus on live television.
Oh man, you know what's one? I remember one of the crazier things. If you have Connor go like down the full law route, and you also have Marcus go full rebellion, the game ends on a very big climactic fight between Connor or Marcus.
Oh.
And you have to choose one to play as.
Oh.
And like, it is honest to God it's a big fucking duel scene, like like
Kingdom Hearts.
It's Duel of the Fates, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I was hoping it would be some shit like freaking Kingdom Hearts, Roxas versus what's his face, his friend.
I think the way I saw it was the fight panned out how They both wind up impaling themselves on rebar and bleeding out. And Connor just turns to Marcus and he's like, "Hey, I win. You don't get to blow up the city." And then Marcus pulls out a fucking bomb switch and goes, "Nah," and flips the switch, blows the bomb, and destroys the entire city.
Yeah, because you can also, like, multiple times, North comes up like, "Hey, dude, so I've been speaking with this guy, and he stole a whole truck of TNT, and we can rig that shit up."
Oh,
with the implication, yeah.
I just remembered Marcus wears a big brown trench coat during that fight. Does it just become what Metal Gear Solid with Connor as Solid Snake and Marcus as Liquid?
Which part?
The fucking fight between Connor and Marcus.
I don't know. I never saw it.
No, I'm not saying it literally does.
But yeah. So for a closing thought, once again, I played through with Marcus leading the peaceful rebellion and actually getting what he wanted, and Connor becoming a person and becoming friends with Detective Dante, and Kara dying because I didn't care about the story their story at that point. Yeah, because Canada. So
Oh, those bastards.
So, the post credit scene, because I got one. The post credit scene, is I think it's supposed to give closure to Detective Dante because he's not in the ending for Connor technically. But the thing is, the whole thing is like 5 seconds long, and it's just Detective Dante gets out of the car. They're at the diner. He walks up to Connor. He hugs him, and that's it.
Well, to me, the
I wish-
implication is that like business just goes on for them. They continue to be a pair of detectives.
I just wish they actually got freaking like, buddy cop dialogue or something as a closing thing.
I thought you were about to like. Hank just arrives. He goes up to Connor, and Hank's carrying adoption papers.
Yeah,
You are my son now.
that's actually a part of the thing. Hank has a dead son.
Oh, and Connor's the replacement.
Kind of, no. Well, not with how, not with what I saw, but maybe if we become even better friends with him. But yeah, the whole thing of Hank being a big racist is that his kid was in a car accident, and then a robot operated on him and lost him, and that's why he hates robots. But then after a while, if you're a good enough friends with him, then I think one time when he's drunk, Connor brings it up to him, and he's like, they're arguing, and Hank goes, no, an android didn't kill my kid. Some random asshole killed my kid because he was too high on bat salts to freaking operate, so they sent some random ass robot.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, problem solved. Sounds like.
Yeah. So overall, Detroit Become Human. Connor's story, pretty good, pretty alright. I didn't mind it. Freaking Marcus sucks. That's actually one of my cliff notes, by the way. Just Marcus sucks. And then Canada also sucks, I guess.
Damn you, Canada! Why must you be such a shit civilization? Alright, and anything else this past 2 weeks?
Well then, I played through all of the Neo 2 open beta.
Okay. Can we get the cliff notes, because there's pizza waiting on me.
No, hurry, Eddie. That's important.
Quick, Samurai, you liked it better than the first one, I think, right?
Yeah, it has more options, and I like that. I like having more options.
Does
I like being able. I don't know. I think that's a thing with Guilty Gear right now. But yeah, so yes, Neo 2, pretty fun. Actually, a bit easier than the first one. Now that I've played through like half of the first game,
Okay.
a bit easier than the first one, and just because of the options. Like the hand-to-hand is a bit easier, but then you also have to remember that it's just the first 2 levels.
All right.
So it's a bit easier, but not that much actually. So
Okay.
yeah, I also played through the first half of Neo 1. It is a game. I am not that bad at it anymore, but I'm still still not enjoying myself a whole lot with it.
Okay.
Like Soon raised the best point about this whole thing with the Souls games. Because Soon said, and I'm not sure if I have it in the video that's gonna go up on Neo 2, but Soon said that the thing with the Dark Souls games is that at first they're hard, and then you figure out the gameplay loop, and they just become boring. And yeah, I can feel that. Because either I'm just having a hard time with the bosses because sometimes they just have really annoying gimmicks, or I'm just cutting through freaking unnamed only 500 and not even actually really thinking about what's happening. The only boss that I've been having a challenging time that isn't bosses right now is freaking ninjas. It's always the ninjas. It really is. Holy shit.
In bikinis.
Yeah, in bikinis. They hide in a freaking like. There's a lot of small things that I like about Neo, but when I take a step back and look at the whole picture, I don't think that the parts that I find good outweigh the parts that I find bad. So it's not a bad game.
So
It's
obviously
just,
you want me to play it now.
I mean, I had more fun recording Neo 2 with y'all just watching than I ever had playing Neo 1. So
Fair.
so maybe it will be fun.
Maybe we'll give it a shot.
Yeah, and once again, like the enemies are interesting for the most part. I like the Japanese folklore shit. I like how stupid and batshit insane it can become, and I like that being put into the game. Like when I saw the freaking Tengu for the first time, I couldn't believe my eyes, because the Tengu just does Tatsumakis,
Ah,
and he kills you with the Tatsumakis.
as he should. Take that, fucker.
But yeah. Other issues that I've been having with the game that I don't fault the game for are just freaking general issues with my controller, which is that the freaking left stick is dying, just in general.
Oh.
So I hopefully I'll be able to get a new controller, and I actually enjoy more of the game, because a lot of times I'm finding like I'm getting salty, not at the game but at my controller, because I'm fighting Orioki for the 50th time because he's like Kuze. And he does a really predictable attack. And I'm holding to the left or the right whenever he's attacking from. I'm holding the opposite direction to dodge, because that's how you dodge that particular attack. William doesn't move. William walks to the left in a freaking calm manner, because my controller doesn't take like absolute inputs anymore sometimes. And that's really hard because you can't dodge out of just walking. Well, not with the way that my controller inputs it right now. Anyway, so yeah, I feel like I would have a lot of an easier time with the game if I could actually dodge.
Yeah. I mean, it's always rough going with older controllers. Anytime I play Xbox 360, like, oof. Is it just me, or did the shoulders always seem a little iffy? The shoulder buttons on the Xbox 360.
I don't remember. The only things that's ever failed me before this generation, because this generation is all about failing, I guess. Because PS4 controller left stick doesn't, and then freaking my Xbox One controller just has phases. Right now the phase is no RB, and that's it. But it had a phase where it was no RB. Also, I'm not gonna take your left stick inputs. Like, leave that shit at the door. Like, before this generation, my 360 controller has a defect where I can't press, I think, to the right on the D-pad, but that's because I played so much Tekken Online that I wore out the button. Similarly, my PS2 controller, my actual legitimate DualShock 2, because I have a third-party one that actually works relatively okay, but my DualShock 2 cannot go to the left because I was guarding so much in Tekken 5. But that's it. Just the D-pad being worn out because of freaking constant use. It's not, oh, well, the sensor doesn't feel like it anymore.
Ugh. Yeah, that's always rough, the controllers going out. Alright. You do anything else this week?
I don't think so, but I did pick up 2 pictures for Meme Hour.
Oh, okay. Let me just throw out a timestamp.
So here's the first one. It's actually a leak of the next Smash Brothers character and their inputs.
See, the funny part about that is that the Terry inputs actually aren't bad at all.
Yeah, but no, actually this was made in response to people complaining about the Terry inputs.
Oh, well, fuck those people.
Yeah, the people on the Smash Reddit or something like that were complaining about how Terry's inputs are stupid hard and shit like that. So a guy who's into Guilty Gear made this.
I mean, some of the inputs in like Guilty Gear are ridiculous, but
I mean, look at the screen. Obviously, some of the inputs are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Go in all these directions, hit all the face buttons, go in all these directions as well, and then press this button.
Like, a double Hadouken is not bad. Downright. You're playing if you're playing Smash seriously, you're already inputting that. And like the other one is just pendulum. Down, back, down, forward. It's not bad.
Meanwhile, here we have double Kaiser Wave, but also instead of one button, it's all of them.
I mean, I'm not going to try and be that elitist about, commands, because I recognize there are a lot of them in fighting games that really, really just get people. And, like, the pretzel is a classic, and I don't want to see the pretzel ever leave, because at this point, it's funny, Which is a hell of a reason to keep a feature in a game, but I mean, Geese and Rock would not be Geese and Rock without the pretzel.
I don't know, dude. I don't really appreciate freaking not being able to do anything aside from the kick with Hazama because he's pretzel banned.
Hazama has pretzels?
Yeah, Hazama's level 3 is a pretzel input.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, see, it's less fun for anyone other than Geese or Rock.
Yeah, like for Geese and Rock, fine, keep them, but please don't put them on new characters.
I mean, the thing is, like, KOF is a slower game than BlazBlue. Getting a
True.
pretzel out in BlazBlue is a fucking ordeal. Well, getting a pretzel out at all is an ordeal, and you don't want to deal with that in the middle of a fucking BlazBlue match.
Yeah.
But it's not really that bad in, KOF, because you get a little bit of time to do it.
Yeah. So yeah, this, and then also there was this other one that's actually related to Gear. So put up a timestamp.
Hang on.
So I titled this picture when Slayer starts doing mortal counters on you. So by the way, this is Jif's face during the Potemkin Buster.
Well, I mean,
that doesn't help me, but I appreciate the reaction face.
I mean... Okay. Alright, anyways, is that all you've done this past week, Addy?
I think so, yeah.
Alright. On my end, I'll try to just rush real quick. Let's see. I watched Fargo Season 2. The Coen brothers, they have got to be impressive directors when it comes to guiding actors. Because, by God, they did it. They got a good performance out of Kirsten Dunst. Impossible. They got a charismatic and entertaining performance out of Patrick Wilson, who to me is one of the most boring vanilla guys in Hollywood. Pink, do you even remember who played Orm in Aquaman?
I mean, now that you mention it, no, but...
That's Patrick Wilson.
No,
Did you watch the movie version of Watchmen?
I did not.
He was Night Owl in that.
Ew.
The dude is just boring and vanilla, and he played a really enjoyable protagonist in Fargo Season 2. Fargo Season 2 is a well-constructed, very delightful kind of classic Godfather mob story that still fits in kind of the Fargo confines of generally being a story about somewhat stupid or arrogant crooks that get what they deserve in the end. And it's got a masterful use of Black Sabbath's War Pigs, which I didn't expect, because War Pigs is actually probably one of my least favorite Black Sabbath songs. Weirdly enough, I know.
Yeah.
I started up Season 3. Season 3 is not great. So basically, Ewan McGregor plays twins. One is balding, one is successful and not balding. And they both hate each other and are fighting over a stamp. There you go. There's your fucking plot. Enjoy.
A stamp?
A stamp. A fucking stamp.
There's got to be more of this.
I mean, there has to be. I'm only 3 episodes in, but I don't feel like continuing because it's just so fucking boring. The first 3 episodes don't grab you. The third episode entirely just lollygags. You remember the episode of Season 2 of Stranger Things that everybody hated? Where 11 goes to Indianapolis? And
yeah.
The only point is, oh, well, there are people other than 11 with powers. Yeah, there's an episode that exists entirely just to say, oh, this episode was pointless. Legitimately, the fucking episode ends saying, wow, this entire trip has been pointless. Yeah, I guess that takes balls.
Yep.
So, yeah, not excited for that. I have been putting more time to 2K19. Since I run into this problem every time I try to run a universe with actual WWE wrestlers, where I download all the guys off custom creations, and then I put everybody and their mother into universe, and I just have a universe where there's like 300 wrestlers. And inevitably, I start it up, and I'm just like, I have no idea what the fuck is going on. There are 300 wrestlers. We are not going to be able to maintain a regime here. There are basically going to be 10 guys, even worse, 5 guys in the main event scene, 10 guys in the mid card, 2 tag teams, and then everybody else is just going to be sitting there at home watching. The tag division is shit in every WWE game. The WWE games only want to push 2 tag teams at a time.
Yep.
I don't know why. And it's never the ones you want. The game is beyond pissed that I put, Arn Anderson and Tully Blanchard as the tag champs. It doesn't fucking get it. It's like, why are you not pushing Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy right now? Why are you not taking advantage of Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, because Bo Dallas is a fucking goober. No. Straight to the jobbing pit with him. Curtis Axel I can stand, but Bo Dallas, no. His entire existence makes the rest of the roster look like a joke for losing matches to him. God. So instead, I've decided to finally do something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but never really put in the effort to. I'm making a bunch of created wrestlers on another profile and just going to do a custom universe, finally. Of custom wrestlers, custom championships, custom arenas, custom shows. And
that's usually what I do, yeah.
Yeah, that's a difficult process, going through and making every single moveset.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That's, dude, the only fun I get out of these games is making people.
Yeah, absolutely. But there comes a certain point where there are some parts of the moveset that are always fun to fill out. You know, standing grapples. Oh, okay, let's set up the finishers and signatures. Like, there's only so many times I can set up turnbuckle grapples.
Ah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
But like the fun thing that I like doing is like I had a tech team that I made of two dudes who were supposed to be like freaking basically wannabe superheroes at first. Then they changed, but yeah, they were called like the Alpha and Omega, and they're like the thing about them is that I basically just only had to make one guy for them because I made one of them full moveset, full entrance, shit like that. Gave the other guy a made the other guy's looks, made a different entrance, and then the moveset a bit just to make it a different guy. And then, but like shit like the turnbuckle grapples and stuff like that stayed the same between them because they're a tech team. They do similar shit.
Yeah, there comes a certain point where you're just like, well, I guess this guy also will do the snake eyes. Oh, look at that. Toss in the ring post. There you go.
Wait, are you telling me that they added shit other than snake eyes into the game for freaking backwards grapples?
Yes. When's the last one you played?
16.
Toss in the ring post is definitely in 16.
Tossing the ring post is in 16, but it's literally either that or snake eyes. There's nothing else. It's only those two.
They added a new one, Rebound German Suplex. That one's a good one.
I wish we actually had moves instead of everything just freaking like. I wish we had moves for everything instead of it being okay. So there's a shit ton of standing grapples. There's like 5 million strikes. Also, 2 grapples when you're on the freaking ropes.
We'll get wrestlers in real life to start doing more moves on the ropes. Like, the problem here isn't the game designers themselves. They're just trying to imitate the product. And the majority of people are just going to go with plain, simple, in-ring finishers. But if we want to complain about moveset things, when will they finally make the kneeling and sitting moves finisher and signature selectable?
I'm waiting.
Because there are some good moves there.
Yep.
Like earlier, I wanted to give the guy the little running, kneeling kind of flatliner. Not an option.
Mm-hmm.
There are some moves that are like perfectly reasonable standing moves, but for some reason only available for sitting and kneeling moves.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you want the Vortex as a finisher, get fucked. Like, I remember way back in 2K15, they brought in the reverse suplex, only available for kneeling moves. You couldn't do it from a standing position. Which is crazy, because that's a basic-ass move, the reverse suplex.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's some fond memories, isn't it? The way old days when we were missing some basic-ass moves from these games. Like, way back in the day when they took out as many moves as they added in every year.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The one move that I wish could be a finisher for shit like this is in sitting moves, like sitting strikes or sitting running strikes, I think. There's this lariat or like elbow strike or something like that, where the guy does a run in to a kneeling or to a sitting opponent. He runs in. He basically dives on the kneeling guy or the sitting guy's face, does an elbow, and then slips or like slides past on his knees like it's Vanquish. And I think that move looks freaking good, but it's not available for a finisher.
That's probably just called sliding clothesline.
No, the sliding clothesline lift is a different thing. I think it's either called something attack or like elbow strike or something.
Yeah. Oh, man. There's always improvements that can be made with these games. Always. Which is why they keep removing shit. Oh, look at that. Create a championship. Gone. What?
Mm-hmm.
Fucking hell. Alright. I believe... Obviously, I put more time into Prison Architect. I enjoy it a little bit. It's a game that if you play too much, it kind of stops being fun. Particularly if you suck. Meanwhile,
And that's why you start up a plantation.
every time I reference a strategy game from now on, I think Addy's going to be like, hey, Spiffing Brit. Because Spiffing Brit has one of the best channels on YouTube right now. And I don't think Pink knows who we're talking about. So, there's this YouTube guy, he's British, the Spiffing Brit. Well, I think he's actually Australian secretly, but... Traitor! He's the Spiffing Brit.
It's basically the same thing.
He just joined the Yogscast or something. And his whole thing is, pretty much now, all of his channel is making videos of him finding ways to exploit a ton of games, usually strategy games, for some ridiculous shit. He did make a couple videos in Civ 6, and he found 2 goofy strategies to go for. But they're both city-state dependent. But they are pretty good ones. One being that if you can get Yerevan as Eleanor of Aquitaine, you can use the Yerevan promotions to basically just spread religion to all bordering cities, which increases the loyalty pressure massively. While also harvesting relics, which, because she has her whole thing with museums and stuff, also increases loyalty pressure. So if Eleanor can get a good religion game going and get Yerevan as a suzerain, then she can just eat everybody else. And the other one was, you know how there's one militaristic city-state, I want to say it's in Gazargamu, that decreases the gold price of units by 30%?
Yeah.
Right. That stacks with the Malise bonuses to set gold prices. So, if you're playing as Mansa Musa, and you become the suzerain of Angazargamu, and you get the appropriate policy card, Mansa Musa can just buy units for completely free.
My favorite was...
paid to buy units now.
Yeah.
Not pay gold to receive unit, it's we'll pay you gold and give you a unit.
One of my favorites is he played like something like I think it was like Age of Mythologies or something recently, and there's this server or something where he can speed research, or no, not speed. Whenever you research something, it actually researches it 256 times or something like that, and he researched trebuchets or catapults so much that instead of actual catapults, they were nukes. Genuinely, he was still in, like, all of the catapults were still in his castle. He also nuked the castle on the other side of the freaking map.
Oh man, that is some great stuff. That is some fantastic stuff. Like, he's quickly, like, becoming one of my absolute favorite YouTubers. And other than that, I believe the only thing I've done is I have played Terry in Smash Ultimate. Have you, Pink?
Are you okay?
I am okay. I'm very okay, because I've got a new main in Smash. So, Terry is fan-fucking-tastic. And unlike Dragon Quest Hero, he's not stupid broken. Have you heard that they're already planning on banning Hero from all the tournaments?
Yes.
Yeah. What a fucking dumb character design. God. So, Terry, his whole things that make him unique. Pink, did you watch the Nintendo Direct on him?
I did not.
Okay, so Terry...
You missed out.
You did miss out. So Terry retains Ryu and Ken's input system, where if you do the inputs from the games, it will boost the power of his moves. He retains Ryu and Ken's strength system as well, where if you hold the button down for longer, he'll do a stronger version of his moves.
Oh, I didn't even know about that.
Yeah, that's actually one... I didn't know about that until recently either. That's apparently one of the best things about Ryu and Ken. Because Ryu's strong version of his normal is actually really good. But Terry's whole thing, in addition to that, he has one unique mechanic that I think you'll get more use out of than I will, because you're better at the game. Terry is the only character in the game who can cancel a dodge. If he dodges in place, then he can cancel it with a attack, with a normal.
Oh, that's interesting.
His other thing is that once he gets up past 100%, or 30 stamina if you're in a stamina battle, you mad bastard. Once he gets past that point, he will get a little flashing icon over his head that says, okay, because it's Terry. And he can do the inputs to his super moves from the games, and he just gets free infinite versions of his super moves, all of which are stupid powerful. If he whiffs them, or if they get blocked, then it leaves him open, but he gets free moves that are borderline instant and will just knock people's asses out of the park.
And his ultimate is so freaking good.
Right, his ultimate is just that he does 3 power geysers, and if it connects, then he hits you with a Buster Wolf, which is very good, yes, in terms of cinematic.
I think it's a triple geyser into the Burning Knuckle and then Buster Wolf.
You are correct, and it's just your usual kind of Smash Ultimate that's cinematic and shit.
Right.
Like, the key thing for me is his actual supers that he gets to do that are separate from the Smash Ultimate thing. That he gets to do infinite versions of the Buster Wolf and the Power Geyser. The Power Geyser and the Buster Wolf, since you don't know, obviously, Power Geyser is basically, he touches his fist to the ground and a massive wave of energy just shoots up like 100 feet in the air. Well, not 100, but 50 feet in the air. 3 times his character model, let's just say that. Which is the best anti-air ever, as you can imagine. That will just,
Right.
if people jump on you, you can just send them flying. And the Buster Wolf is basically, you know, Little Mac's neutral special?
Yeah,
Imagine if he didn't have to charge that.
I like it.
Yeah, it's nuts. And
Also, Terry's up special is like the best anti-air.
yes, he has a very unique thing. So, you know what charging is in fighting games, right?
Maybe?
Some special moves you have to hold down a direction before you can do the move. The classic example being Guile, who needs to hold down before he can press up to do his anti-air, or hold backwards before he can press forward to do his projectile. Terry has a charge move in the KOF games, so to retain that, you can do his up special normally, and he'll have upper body invincibility, and it's basically kind of an up drill, you know?
Right.
But if you crouch for like a full second beforehand, he has full invincibility for the entirety of his up special.
Oh.
Yeah. He is fantastic. And the best thing about him is the fact that he chose to retain all his stupid English. Because it's just too iconic to have Terry go, like, yelling, "Are you okay?" as he does a Buster Wolf on you. And his taunt, he has the taunt from the classic KOF Sadie, where he just waves his hand and goes, "Come on, come on."
Yeah, I know, I saw.
It's fantastic.
Also, Pink, you should go and watch freaking Mashed Potato Samurai's thing, because he actually tells you about the history of the character and stuff like that.
He does. That is a big part of it.
He also tells you about how fighting games exist.
That is also part
How
of
they
it.
exist.
Here's the other thing I forgot. He is the first character that his side special is different for each side. He, like Ryu and Ken, he tracks where his opponent is and changes direction based off that. His side special towards the opponent is the Burn Knuckle, which is just a straight, kind of dash punch, your usual. A Captain Falcon punch or what have you. A Captain Falcon uppercut, rather. Or, it's kind of a Falcon kick. And if you press in the other direction, he does the crack shoot, which is kind of, there's no move that's really comparable to it that's already in Smash. But he does a big kind of flip overhead kick. And for the time that his leg is flying through the air to flip overhead kick, it's also an anti-air. But it hits like 4 times.
Okay.
He's a very fun character. Oh, I don't know how important this is, but he can do the side special and his up special in the air. How many characters can do that? If he does his side special in the air, that won't cancel out his up special.
I don't think anyone can do that.
Because
let's see.
I know for sure Little Mac can't do that, because that would make his recovery game not shit.
Right.
You can.
Jigglypuff can, but that would be kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, that would be irrelevant.
You can tell that freaking Sakurai really loves freaking KOF because here's the thing. I'm not sure, actually if I don't know if you know about this, but apparently while Sakurai was coming up with the idea for Smash, he was playing KOF 95.
And he whooped the shit out of either a complete noob or his friend's girlfriend. Somebody that... And he felt really bad afterwards. So he was like, I need to make a fighting game that people can understand immediately, intuitively. And he made Smash.
That madman!
Yeah. He was tired of beating up random people on the street. He wants the random people on the street to fight back.
The man's so powerful. He needed to freaking put chains on his body, so he won't
The
kill
man's
everyone.
so powerful, he nerfed himself.
No, the man's so powerful, he needs to give
Sakurai is freaking Akuma.
He's so powerful, he needs to give other people steroids.
Yeah.
You want to fight me? And then he just pulls a needle out and starts, flicking it.
Now I'm just imagining freaking Sakurai doing Goshangoku Satsu.
I can imagine that.
And then when he's finished, his back Kirby shows up.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Great minds think alike. And instead of Akuma's little us that he says afterwards, you just hear Kirby in the distance going, hi. Oh, man.
No, when he does it, afterwards, freaking Meta Knight's theme starts playing.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Alright, I'm off to go eat pizza. I'll see you guys later. Bye.